1 month after my daughter's wedding, the photographer called and said in a low voice, "Sir, I've seen something awful in the pictures. Come to my studio at once, and please, come alone. Don't tell your daughter." I had just settled with my coffee when the phone rang. A quiet Tuesday morning, the house still. A financial report lay open across my desk, the kind of calm I'd earned after 40 years building Reynolds Hardware. 3 stores across Phoenix. A good business. A good life. I almost let the unknown number go. "Mr. Reynolds?" The woman's voice shook. "This is Carolyn Thornan. I photographed Jacqueline's wedding. I need you to come see me, alone. And please don't speak to your daughter." My grip tightened on the phone. "What's wrong?" "I can't explain over the phone, but I found something in the photographs. Something serious." The air in my office seemed to thin. "What kind of something?" "Tomorrow, 9 a.m., my downtown studio. Please, come alone." Before I could reply, Wendy's voice erupted from the kitchen.
"Ben, I've told you 3 times. I need that car. My Honda's embarrassing. You promised you'd ask him today."
Benjamin's laugh rumbled from the living room, some TV show blaring beneath it. "I'll be there," I said into the phone, barely hearing myself. Carolyn exhaled.
"Thank you. I'm so sorry, Mr. Reynolds, truly."
She hung up. I sat motionless, phone still at my ear, staring at the framed photo on my wall. Jacqueline in her wedding dress, radiant, Samuel beside her in his tuxedo. 1 month ago. $65,000 I'd spent that day. Worth every penny to see my eldest happy. Something serious in the photographs. "Dad?" Wendy appeared in the doorway, phone in one hand, keys in the other. "Did you hear me? I need money for a new car. The Honda's 7 years old. It's humiliating." I looked at my youngest, 31, living in my house 4 years now. Temporarily, she'd said when she moved in after her divorce. Benjamin had followed 6 months later. No rent, no end date. "We'll talk later, sweetheart."
"Later? I need to go to the dealership this week. Melissa got a new Lexus. I can't keep showing up in that piece of junk."
I turned back to my computer screen, the numbers blurred.
"Dad, are you listening?"
"Later, Wendy." She huffed and disappeared. Footsteps stomped upstairs. A door slammed. I picked up my coffee, cold now. Through my office window, the Paradise Valley morning stretched bright and cloudless. July heat already building. Everything looked normal. Everything felt wrong. The day crawled by. I tried to focus on inventory, projections, payroll. My mind kept circling back to Carolyn's trembling voice. The wedding had been perfect, hadn't it? Jacqueline had glowed. Samuel had been attentive. The botanical gardens, the upscale resort, everything elegant, tasteful, expensive. What could be wrong with the photographs? Around noon, Benjamin wandered into my office without knocking. Never knocked. "Hey, Pops, Wendy says you're being weird about the car thing." I said we'd discuss it later. "Yeah, but she's pretty set on it. Maybe just give her the money. Keep the peace." He leaned in the doorway, arms crossed. 38, no job. Living off my daughter's allowance, which meant living off me. "Benjamin, I'm working." Sure, just saying. Happy wife, happy life, right?" He grinned and left. Happy wife. He'd never married Wendy. 4 years in my house, and he couldn't be bothered to make it official.
but he had opinions on how I should spend my money. I stood and walked to the window. Below, my pool sparkled, unused. The guest house, where Wendy and Benjamin stayed, sat at the far edge of the property. I'd built it for visiting grandchildren someday. No grandchildren, just Wendy and Benjamin. The afternoon bled into evening. I heated leftover pasta, ate alone at the kitchen counter while Benjamin occupied my living room, and Wendy video-called someone upstairs, her laugh piercing through the ceiling. At 7:30, my doorbell rang. Jacqueline stood on the step, perfect as always. Tailored blazer, designer jeans, that smile she'd inherited from her mother. My eldest, the successful one, marketing executive, married to Samuel Fisher, investment banker.
"Hi, Daddy." She kissed my cheek and walked past me into the house.
I was in the neighborhood, thought I'd stop by. Paradise Valley to her place in Scottsdale wasn't the neighborhood, but I didn't mention it. She settled on the couch, crossed her legs, looked around as if appraising it. "How are you? You look tired." "Long day. Business things." She picked up a framed photo of her and Wendy as children, studied it, set it back down, slightly off-center. "Samuel and I have been house hunting. We found the most incredible place in Scottsdale. 4 bedrooms, pool, mountain views, absolutely perfect." I sat in the chair across from her and waited. "The thing is, we need to move fast. The market's competitive. We need help with the down payment." She smiled warmly. $40,000. You understand, right? After the wedding, this is just completing the picture, helping us start our life together properly.
"40,000, said, like she was asking to borrow my truck. Something tightened in my chest. That hollow feeling from earlier expanded. "40,000, I repeated.
Is that a problem?
A slight edge entered her voice.
"Dad, we need to move fast. I thought you'd want to help us start our life together properly."
I looked at my daughter. Really looked. The designer clothes, the manicured nails, the practiced warmth that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Let me think about it, sweetheart."
Her smile faltered for a second. "Think about it? Dad, this is important."
"I need to review some things first." She stood abruptly.
"Fine, but don't take too long. We can't lose this house."
She grabbed her purse, kissed my cheek again, colder this time.
"Love you, Daddy. Call me soon."
I watched her Mercedes pull away from the doorway. 40,000 delivered as if I'd already agreed, as if my money were hers. Benjamin's laughter echoed from the living room. Sports highlights on my television. His beer bottles sweating onto my coffee table. I walked back inside, but something had shifted. The house felt different. Or maybe I was seeing it clearly for the first time. My phone sat on the hall table. Carolyn's number still in the call log. Tomorrow morning, her studio. Whatever she'd found, I had a feeling it would explain this hollow sensation spreading through my chest. I picked up the phone and saw Jacqueline's last text.
"Thanks for understanding about the house, Dad. Love you."
I hadn't agreed to anything, but she'd assumed. They all assumed. I left the house before Wendy woke up. Didn't want questions. Didn't want Benjamin looking at me like everything I did required his approval. The drive to downtown Phoenix took 25 minutes. Tuesday morning traffic. Carolyn's studio was a converted warehouse in the Arts District, her name on a brass plate beside the door. My hands were steady on the wheel, but my mind kept replaying her voice. Something very serious. I parked across the street, sat in the truck for a moment. Whatever was inside would explain Jacqueline's casual request for 40,000. It would explain the hollow feeling I'd carried since the wedding. I knew it would. I just didn't want to know how.
The studio smelled of coffee and printer ink. Photographs lined the walls. Weddings, families, corporate headshots. Carolyn met me at the door, younger than I remembered from the wedding. Mid-40s, maybe. Nervous hands, apologetic eyes. "Mr. Reynolds, thank you for coming." She locked the door behind me. "I have everything set up in the editing room." I followed her through the gallery to a smaller room dominated by a large monitor. Wedding portfolios lined the shelves. Morning light filtered through dusty glass. "Can I get you coffee? Water?" "I'm fine." I wasn't fine. "Please just show me." She nodded and sat at her computer. I remained standing behind her chair. "Mr. Reynolds, I almost didn't call you. I went back and forth for days, but if I were in your position, I'd want to know. I didn't go looking for this." My throat tightened. "Show me." Her fingers moved across the keyboard. The monitor filled with images from the wedding, the ceremony, Jacqueline walking down the aisle, Samuel at the altar, guests smiling. Everything beautiful. Perfect. "These are the standard shots," Carolyn said softly. "What everyone saw." She clicked to the next folder. 2 hours before the ceremony, I was at the venue early testing exposures." Another click. "I was shooting through a window, adjusting light settings." The image appeared. My hands gripped the back of her chair. Samuel, in his tuxedo, not yet buttoned properly, pressed against a woman with red hair. Not my daughter. Kissing her, his hands in her hair, her arms around his neck. Not a friendly embrace. Intimate, possessive, familiar. "How long before the ceremony?" My voice sounded far away. "You're certain about the time?" 2 hours before. The metadata is here. Date, time, GPS coordinates." She pulled up a technical display. "I captured this by accident, but it's real. And there are multiple shots." She clicked forward. Different angles, same scene. Samuel and the red-haired woman locked together. In one photo, the woman's left hand was visible, pressed against Samuel's chest. A wedding ring, gold band, diamond. "The woman." I leaned closer. "Do you know who she is?" Carolyn shook her head. "I don't recognize her from the guest list." "I'm so sorry, Mr. Reynolds." She pulled up another image. Samuel's face was clear. No confusion, no drunken stumble, just confidence, control. A man who knew exactly what he was doing. 2 hours before marrying my daughter. I straightened slowly. My knees felt weak. The room tilted, then righted itself. "Can you prove the timing?" "Absolutely." She opened another window, showing technical data I barely understood. Digital fingerprints, file information, GPS coordinates matching the restaurant, timestamps to the second. "This is forensic-level evidence, Mr. Reynolds. It would hold up anywhere." She reached into her desk drawer and pulled out a small flash drive. "Everything is here. All the photos, all the metadata, technical documentation. I made copies." She held it out. "I don't know what you'll do with this, but you should have it." I took the flash drive, closed my fist around it. "Don't apologize," I said. "You did the right thing." The drive back passed in a blur. Samuel Fisher, investment banker, polished, articulate, successful, kissing another woman 2 hours before his wedding. A woman wearing a wedding ring, not a mistake, calculated, deliberate. Why marry Jacqueline at all? The question circled my thoughts like a vulture. Why go through with a $65,000 wedding to a woman you were betraying hours before the ceremony? Why make those vows? Why smile in those photos? My truck knew the way home. The flash drive sat in my pocket, heavy as a stone. I pulled into the driveway just after 11. The house looked the same, but I wasn't. I opened the front door. Benjamin sprawled across my leather recliner, beer in hand, some game show blaring. He didn't look up. "Hey, old man, grab me another beer while you're up." From upstairs, Wendy's voice. "Dad, is that you? I need to talk to you about money for the spa this weekend."
I stood in the entryway, flash drive in my pocket, and something inside me that had been bending for years finally snapped. My daughter's husband cheating 2 hours before the wedding. My other daughter living in my house demanding spa money. My son-in-law ordering me to bring him beer. In my chair, in my house. I closed the door behind me with a quiet click. They thought I was the same man who'd left that morning. They were wrong. Sleep was impossible. I sat in my office past midnight, the flash drive on the desk beside my laptop. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those photographs. Samuel's face, confident, not guilty. I opened the laptop and pulled up the wedding budget spreadsheet. $65,000 I'd spent, but Jacqueline had insisted on one thing specifically: cash gifts, no registry. "Dad, we're starting fresh. Cash is more practical." I'd thought she was being mature. Now I wondered what I'd actually paid for. I grabbed a legal pad and started writing numbers, dates, details that suddenly seemed wrong. The guest list, 200 people, mostly my business associates, my friends. Each envelope at the reception. I remembered the gift table overflowing. Jacqueline had hired someone specifically to collect, count, catalog them. 45,000 in cash and checks. She'd told me the total the week after the wedding, laughing. "Samuel and I are so blessed, Dad. Everyone was so generous." I wrote that number down, circled it. Then I remembered. My business partner, Marcus Chen, had handed Samuel a check directly at the reception. "Welcome to the family, son. Start your life right." I'd been standing there. 15,000. Samuel had pocketed it and smiled. "Thank you, sir. We won't forget this." 60,000 total from one wedding, for a couple supposedly starting out. Why marry Jacqueline at all? I stared at that question on the legal pad. If Samuel had another woman, a woman wearing a wedding ring, why go through with the ceremony? Unless the vows didn't matter. Unless the money did. My stomach turned. At 7, I showered and dressed, left the house before Wendy woke up. Didn't want questions. Didn't want to see Benjamin on my couch. The bank opened at 9. I drove to the downtown branch where I did my business banking. The manager, Patricia Williams, greeted me in her office. We'd worked together 15 years. "Mr. Reynolds, what brings you in?" I wanted to verify a check I wrote. Wedding gift for my daughter, 20,000. Wanted to make sure it cleared properly. Patricia pulled it up. "Yes, here it is. Joint account for Samuel and Jacqueline Fisher. Cleared without issues." "Joint account," I said casually. "When did they open that?" She scrolled. "Looks like 2 months ago, May 10th. 2 months before the wedding. Not years, not when they got engaged. 2 months. "They must have moved fast on wedding planning," I said, keeping my voice light. Patricia smiled. "Everything happens quickly." I thanked her and left. In my truck I sat with the engine running. May 10th. They'd opened a joint account specifically to receive wedding money, planned it, coordinated it. This wasn't romance. This was logistics. I drove home. The house looked quiet. Benjamin's car was there.
I entered through the garage, plans to go straight to my office. Then I heard Wendy's voice from upstairs. Too loud, as usual. Phone conversation. "Yeah, Dad looks suspicious lately. Different somehow. But don't worry, sis. Ben and I can stretch this another 6 months easy. By then, he'll cave and buy us that condo just to get rid of us." I froze in the hallway.
Jacqueline's voice came through the speaker. Wendy laughed.
"Perfect. I've got 2 more months of playing happy wife. Then I file. Half those gifts are legally mine in Arizona. Samuel already agreed to a 60-40 split. Easiest $45,000 I ever made."
My hand found the wall, steadied myself. Wendy laughed again.
"And Sam's little girlfriend doesn't even know about the plan. This is perfect. Dad's so busy feeling proud of your marriage, he doesn't see anything."
"Keep him distracted," Jacqueline said.
"Make him think you need something big. That way when I ask for the house down payment, it won't seem excessive by comparison." "Already on it. Asked him for a new car yesterday. He looked annoyed, but he'll come around. He always does."
I backed away, silent, careful. Each step measured until I reached my office, closed the door, leaned against it. My hands shook.
2 daughters, both lying, both using me. One planning divorce to steal wedding money, the other squatting in my house, running out the clock until I bought them off. Playing happy wife, easiest $45,000 I ever made. I'd almost let it happen. Almost written Jacqueline that $40,000 check. Almost. I sat at the computer, typed "Property Lawyer, Phoenix, Arizona." Robert Mackenzie's name appeared third. 25 years experience, real estate law, family trusts, asset protection. His office had an opening tomorrow at 9. I made the appointment. Then I sat back and looked at my closed office door. Beyond it, Wendy was probably still on the phone. Benjamin was probably still on my couch. Both comfortable, both confident. They had no idea what was coming. I didn't either, not exactly. But tomorrow I'd start finding out. Tomorrow I became something other than a wallet with a heartbeat. Mackenzie's office was on the 23rd floor. I arrived early, spent 10 minutes in the parking garage organizing my folder. Wedding spreadsheet, flash drive, notes, timelines, dollar amounts, evidence. The elevator ride felt long. I'd made business decisions for 40 years. This shouldn't feel different, but it did. This was my family. No, not family. Not anymore. They'd made that choice when they turned me into a transaction. The reception area was professional. Glass desk, leather chairs, expensive abstract art. A woman looked up. "Mr. Reynolds, Mr. Mackenzie is ready." His office had floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Phoenix. Mahogany desk, law books, diplomas. Robert Mackenzie stood as I entered. 50s, gray at the temples, firm handshake. "Mr. Reynolds, please sit. Coffee?" "Black." He poured, handed me a mug, settled behind his desk. "I reviewed your intake form. Property issues and family matters. Tell me what's happening." I placed my folder on his desk, opened it methodically. A month ago, I paid $65,000 for my daughter's wedding. 3 days ago, the photographer showed me pictures of my son-in-law with another woman 2 hours before the ceremony. Yesterday, I discovered my daughter's plan. The marriage was a scam to collect cash gifts and split them. Mackenzie's pen paused. "You have evidence both intended to divorce from the beginning?" I overheard my younger daughter on the phone with her sister. Quote, "2 more months and I file for divorce. Half the gifts are legally mine. Samuel already agreed to 60-40. Those were her exact words.
I slid the flash drive across. The affair photos are here, metadata included. Mackenzie inserted the drive, clicked through files. His jaw tightened slightly. And your younger daughter, Wendy?
She's been living in my house 4 years. Her boyfriend with her. No rent, no lease, constant money demands. I pulled out my notes. Yesterday's phone call. She told Jacqueline they'd stretch it another 6 months until I bought them a condo. Mackenzie made notes, circled details. In Arizona, property law is clear. Your house is your property. With no written rental agreement, you have the right to begin eviction proceedings 30 days after written notice. They've lived there 4 years without paying rent. Can they fight this? Not successfully. Without a lease, they're essentially guests who've overstayed. The 30-day notice is a courtesy, not a negotiation. Something loosened in my chest. A courtesy, not a negotiation. Mackenzie pulled a thick book from his shelf. Arizona Property Code, opened to a flagged section, turned it so I could read. It's straightforward. We draft a formal notice. You serve it personally or by certified mail. They have 30 days to vacate. If they refuse, we file for removal. Judges rule quickly on these cases. What about the rest? I looked up. My assets, my business. I don't want them getting anything when I'm gone. That's where an irrevocable trust becomes valuable. We transfer your assets, house, business, savings, into a trust managed by a professional trustee. You maintain control during your lifetime, but after death, distribution follows your instructions. Much harder to challenge than a will. How soon can we start? Today. I'll need you to sign an engagement agreement. My fees for eviction notices, will revision, and complete trust creation, $8,500. I'd spent $65,000 on a fake wedding. Another $45,000 collected by my daughter and her husband. Tens of thousands more over 4 years supporting Wendy and Benjamin. That's acceptable. Mackenzie pulled documents from his drawer. Engagement agreement, fee structure, timeline. We'll have eviction notices drafted by Friday morning. You'll serve them this weekend. I recommend doing it personally. After service, the 30-day clock starts.